Now, I know what some of you are thinking right away. That ain't much of a truck. Well, guess what? This is actually built on the same assembly line as the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And that's plenty truck. There's a whole lot of truck in that Jeep. The Durango, though, is more of a street machine from the Chrysler family. And the normal Durango is fine. There's one with a 5.7 liter HEMI. That one's fine. This one, though, is not that one. This one is the SRT! This thing is awesome. Remember how sport trucks used to be cool? The days of the original Lightning, and then there was the SRT-10 Ram. Chevy had the 454 SS Silverado for a while. There were some great sport trucks. Those days are gone. Everybody wants either a tough workhorse, which is fine, or an off-road beast, which is also fine. But personally, I would like to see some more sport trucks. Right now, this is probably the closest you're going to get from the factory. This is the Dodge Durango SRT. And SRT means good things. It doesn't literally mean good things, but I mean pretty close. Under the hood, how does it earn that SRT badge? Under the hood is the 392. That would be the 6.4 liter HEMI V8 engine. Here it's making 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. And it's backed up by that now familiar 8-speed gearbox. You can shift it down here on the gear selector or grab the paddles and let her rip. Now, you can't just stuff a big engine under there and hope for the best, though that'd be my own personal philosophy towards project cars. However, SRT is smarter than I am. What they've done is they've revised the suspension tuning and damping. They have massive Brembo brakes. There are 6-piston clampers up front, 295 series tires up front as well, and they're Pirellis. You can get 20 or 21-inch wheels on this thing to fill those wheel wells. There are different driving modes. There's a standard mode that leaves everything standard. There's an eco. Let me just pull these up so I know what I'm talking about here. There's auto mode. There's a snow mode. There's a towing mode because this is still a unibody vehicle. It can tow 8,700 pounds. But forget those modes for a second. If you're towing with this, props to you, but the average person probably isn't going to. Tow your race car behind you, though. That would be super cool. There's a sport mode. What that does is allow for quicker shifts, 50% quicker than the normal mode. It changes stability control by sending more torque to the rear. So what stability control is doing in this case is basically vectoring the torque because this is permanently an all-wheel drive setup. It makes the suspension a little bit stiffer and it makes the steering a little bit heavier. Pop it over to track mode and the shifts are now even faster and even more torque goes to the rear wheels. Up to 75% of that torque is heading out back. Now, I like the custom mode where you can fine-tune all these settings. I like the transmission in sport, but not track, so it's not shifting as hard as it needs to be. Stability control in track, though, so you can send the torque back. The suspension in street, just to retain a little bit of comfort. And then the steering in track, because I like a nice, heavy steering. So you can take this to your favorite canyon roads and do canyon road things. I have to wait for traffic to move here. Yep. Come on, BMW. Get your ass out of the way. So, oh my goodness. There's no other Durangos that sound like this. Oh, it's just farting and burping back there. They fitted a much larger exhaust in the back because this is an SRT. And then the body itself is far more aggressive. This isn't really a Durango you're going to take off-road. From the low-profile Pirelli tires to the actual air intake, which is opened in the grille, that would be a prime place for dust and water and all sorts of other crap to get in there and gunk up your sweet-ass engine. The lower front spoiler is pretty low too. I've actually scraped it coming out of my garage in a Durango. I've scraped the lip in a Durango. That's how set up this thing is for the street, and that's fine. This is a street Durango. It's a sport Durango. It is an SRT Durango, and it is awesome. Now inside, Chrysler does a really good job on its SRT level seats. These are no exception. They're suede in the middle, there's leather on the outside, there's an optional red leather if you want to spend more money, but I love these seats. They feel like you're in a Charger. In fact, this whole thing is basically a ever so slightly lifted Charger with more room. Now, there's no bench seat in the middle. They should make that an option, but this is not a 7 or 8 passenger vehicle. This is strictly a 6 passenger vehicle. 2, 2, 2. You can put the rear row down for utility and actually, use the sport utility vehicle portion of this vehicle, or you can take all of your friends, put 5 people in here, and get to Vegas in record time. And be one of the loudest vehicles on the strip, which is also fun. The Speedo on this says 180 miles per hour. Now, I don't know what the top speed is, and I'm not inclined to find out unless I was on an emptier stretch of road that was already scouted. Not that we would speed on public roads. Don't do that. But the real gorilla in the room here, besides the engine under the hood, is the price tag. It's always the price tag with modern vehicles. Vehicles are expensive today. New vehicles cost lots of money. This one is no exception. The base price is in the mid to low $60,000 range. As tested, this one is $70,000. Tons of money. Tons of money. But Chryslers are always a little bit more expensive than the other. I was going to say the competition, but what is the competition for a vehicle like this? I was comparing maybe the Challenger back to the Mustang and the Camaro. It's always a little bit more expensive because the customer, it might be slightly older, I know this sounds weird. The customer is slightly older and knows what they want, and they're willing to pay a little bit more to have something that might be a little bit more exclusive. I'm talking like Hellcats and Scat Pack level Challengers, not like the base level, even the entry level V8s. But this is a weird way to go, and it doesn't really fit in the Durango, but I think it helps assuage some of the fears of how expensive this is. If you're going to stuff a 6.4 liter HEMI in a vehicle, which already can cost, once you buy a Citadel level Durango, you're already spending tons of money. So if you can keep this under 70, which is very possible, get this at like $65,000 and you have a real winner on your hands, I think. The ride quality is great. It's super comfortable. It doesn't beat you up. And then you add into the fact that you now have a vehicle that can tow 8,700 pounds, and when you're not towing, will run 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds and rip down the quarter mile from the factory in 12.9 seconds. Those are great numbers for an SUV. I know Lamborghini likes to call their new SUV the Urus. They call it, I believe it's an SSUV for like a super sport utility vehicle. This is a more affordable, approachable, rational, relatively speaking, based on what I just compared it to, vehicle than that monster. That's a different category of vehicle. But let's have some fun. I was just going way too fast for this road right then. I'm not going to tell you the number. I'm not going to incriminate myself. That would be dumb. But, this thing is super, super sweet. I did the Land Cruiser video when I told you that's the old guy in the gym who secretly, played college basketball. This is the dude who is on the bench screaming. He's benching a lot of weight and screaming in your face while he's doing it. Squats! Squats! The Durango does not skip leg day. This is the bro science life of the automobile world. I promise we'll be back to more truculent truck soon, but how can we not review the Durango SRT? We'll have the Tahoe RST, whatever the heck it's called, coming out soon to compare this to as well, and then we'll get back into more of like true truck stuff. But when you talk to Dodge and they're like, hey, we have a Durango SRT, you just go, yeah. You go, yup, let's make that happen. Hey there. Okay, here we go. Where's the clock? Squats! Squats! It's not that one. This one is the SRT